Okay, question 6 comes from Ellie. She's a Year 11 pupil at St Thomas More, and this is a very timely question, and very much something that's at the top of the agenda at the moment as well.
Yeah, is there a plan to tackle period poverty? I personally think that is something that isn't talked about enough at school. A lot of teenage girls suffer from missing school just because of not being able to afford to buy for everybody.
Thanks, Ellie. Great question. We'll start with Hardy Douglas. You're the public health consultant.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. Really, really good question. The impact that poverty has on school attendance is a really important issue. And I suppose period poverty is another example of where not being able to afford the basic resources stops children and young people from going to school. A survey was done last year by UK Plan International, and what they identified was that 4 in 10 girls said that they had to use toilet roll or cotton wool because they just couldn't afford sanitary products. And those that did struggle to afford the sanitary products also reported that they used their sanitary products for longer, and that puts them at increased risk of health consequences of using things like tampons for just too long. In the same survey, they also highlighted that in the UK, just under 140,000 girls actually missed school because of sanitary period poverty, and each of those girls took about 5 days off a year. So last year there was just under 700,000 school days missed because of this issue. So it is a really significant issue. And the heartbreaking thing is actually the solution's really easy. We just make sanitary products available to girls when they need them, and so in a way that they can just help themselves to them. So I know VODA, so the project that Robin is in charge of, is actually running the North Tyneside Red Box project. And Red Box is a national initiative, and basically the Red Box is just that. It is a red box that is full of sanitary products, so tampons, sanitary towels, spare knickers and pants. And then these boxes are then delivered to schools and local youth groups, and then they are replenished by the local community. So people give things for free, so those boxes can be maintained. And currently we know that we've got those boxes in 8 of our secondary and high schools in North Tyneside, and we have a plan in the council to ensure that by March next year that every single primary, middle and secondary school will have their own red box in place. I think it's also important to highlight that this doesn't just affect young women, and it actually affects older women as well. So what we're also doing is to expand the Red Box scheme into libraries and pharmacies as well, so that period poverty is dealt with for every single woman in North Tyneside. And I know your question is about period poverty, but I think the fact that this hidden issue of kind of period poverty is now out in the open also helps us to address the stigma and the shame that still actually surrounds just talking about periods, to the point where 14% of girls, when they actually start their period, don't know what to do. So having those boxes out in the open and having the types of conversation that we're actually having today means that girls and boys are better informed about periods. I see that as a really good thing, because it actually normalises periods, because believe it or not, periods are just a part of life.
Great, thank you very much. Robin, if you want to pick up on the Red Box scheme.
Thank you. Ellie, I wasn't supposed to be answering this question, but when I saw it on the sheet, I put in a special request that I could speak, but Heidi's already said it. So at Voda, my colleague Josie is taking the lead on the Red Box project, which is a national initiative. So already quite a few of the schools have got red boxes there. We're really keen to be speaking to those schools who haven't got a box but would be interested in working with us. But equally speaking to the likes of yourself who might like to become the ambassador within your school to keep that box topped up and to communicate with Josie. So we're really keen to see who else would like to get involved in the initiative. And as Heidi says, just to try and make sure that it's available to everyone. Great question, though.
Thank you. And Councillor Early.
Yeah, again, and thanks for the question, Elliot. It is really a topical issue, I think. I think it should be a real concern to us all that girls and young women in general, have to suffer the indignity of this kind of poverty in a wealthy society like the UK in the 21st century. So it's good to hear from Heidi and Robin what is already happening across North Tyneside, and particularly in our schools, to address the issue of period poverty, and that there are plans to widen the support given through the Red Box project to more schools and in the community venues across the borough. And also, as Heidi said, that the aim is to have red boxes in every secondary school in North Tyneside by March of next year. However, I think the point Ellie also raises about the need for more discussion on and raising awareness of the issue is also an important one. So I'm pleased to learn that one of the goals for us as a council is to raise awareness of this issue amongst its own staff, including men, as well as having a drive for donations. And I think, and Heidi might be able to correct me on this, but I think we're going to have an article in our North Tyneside magazine, which goes out to every resident in North Tyneside to encourage donations from residents and the public and raise awareness generally there as well. And I have to say, I think Red Box North Tyneside and Voda are doing a really great job of raising awareness of the issue through social media, their own publications and newsletters. I was very interested to see that on a Facebook page that Red Box North Tyneside had a very successful drive for donations on World Mental Health Day. And again, that obviously links back to some of the other issues that we've already discussed today. So all in all, I believe this is a good example of how the council, working with you as young people, because I think you've had a lot to do with raising this issue, and the voluntary agencies and charities such as Voda and the Red Box Project can make a really big improvement to the lives of female residents in North Tyneside.
Thank you. A supplementary question for you, Robin. We've had a question on from Dylan on Twitter. How do we ensure that the Red Box scheme is actually private, so that young women who perhaps want to access it but don't want to admit that they can't afford sanitary products, how do we make sure that it's actually private and there isn't that embarrassment factor?
Yeah, so I guess the way that it's done is in negotiation with the venue. So if it's a school, for example, we're really interested in speaking to the venue to talk about what's the best way of that happening. So we don't have a set of rules on this is how the box needs to be used. Yeah, so fully appreciate that. It's not necessarily something you're going to want in the reception of a school necessarily, but that everyone is aware that it's available and there's a system in place for people to get things discreetly if that's how they prefer to do it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question, Ellie. Were you happy with the answers, and are you aware of fellow pupils who miss school because of period poverty at your school?
Yeah, thank you for answering my question.
Great stuff.